Something new is inevitable. Well,
you ever dreamt of a better version of the substance?
I'm Sue.
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
What if the substance wasn't the hero, but the villain all along? This recap is about to start a war in the comments as soon as the story begins. It is shown that a man is injecting green liquid inside the egg yolk. Immediately after that, the egg yolk becomes 1 or 2. The scene is cut, and we are shown that some people are making a star named Elizabeth Sparkle. Elizabeth is a very beautiful model and also the host of a show. For some time after becoming a star, people used to gather around Elizabeth and take selfies with her. But gradually, people's attention faded and the star broke. No one even attempted to fix it, which clearly indicated that Elizabeth Sparkle's fame was diminishing. Then the scene shifts, and we see Elizabeth Sparkle, now in her 50s, that though she has aged, she still hosts the same show. After the shooting of her show, as Elizabeth headed to the washroom, she discovered that the ladies' washroom was closed. Left with no other option, she went into the male washroom, where the show's director also entered. He was on the phone, discussing how Elizabeth was no longer the same as before, that he lamented that the high ratings they once received because of Elizabeth were now dropping. He made it clear that he had to replace her with a younger and more beautiful girl. Hearing this, Elizabeth was devastated. The beauty she once prided herself on was now fading, and she kept staring at her wrinkled reflection in the mirror. Heartbroken, she confronted the director, who bluntly told her that he couldn't help. He justified his decision, stating that the audience dictated the show's success, and they desired youth and beauty. Elizabeth left the hotel in despair, the director's cruel words echoing in her mind. Distracted while driving, she got into a terrible accident. Surprisingly, she emerged without a scratch. It was sheer luck. The doctors discharged Elizabeth from the hospital, but as she stepped out, she saw her pictures being removed from billboards. This shattered her even more. As she was given her clothes back, a nurse secretly slipped a message into her coat. The message read, "She changed my knife," along with a drive labeled the substance. Elizabeth rushed home and played the drive, which contained information about a mysterious fluid called the substance. This magical substance could grant an old person a completely new and youthful version of themselves. Along with it, there was another fluid that allowed both the old and new bodies to coexist. However, to maintain the process, the younger body had to receive a special injection extracted from the spine of the old body every 7 days. When one body was active, the other would remain unconscious. First, Elizabeth dismissed it as a scam and threw the flash drive into the trash. However, later that night, as she looked at pictures of her youthful self, she was overcome with regret. Desperate, she contacted the number provided, ordering the substance. The mysterious person on the other end didn't engage in much conversation, simply asking for her address and providing her with a location to collect it. The next morning, while reading the newspaper, Elizabeth saw an advertisement for a new model being recruited to replace her. This crushed her further. Along with the newspaper, she found a black envelope with a number inside. Following the given instructions, she arrived at a secret location and accessed a hidden locker using the number card. Inside was a box, which she took home. Upon opening it, she found various items: a serum, an injection meant for one-time use, a stabilizer kit to maintain the new body, and a special kit for switching between bodies. Additionally, there was food designated for both versions of herself. Elizabeth stood in front of the mirror, contemplating whether to proceed. After much hesitation, she injected the green fluid into herself. For a while, nothing happened. But soon, she was overwhelmed with excruciating pain. Her eyes bulged unnaturally, and suddenly, her back burst open, revealing a new, youthful version of herself. The new Elizabeth was stunning, far beyond what she had imagined. She admired herself in the mirror in disbelief. The next morning, however, she experienced a nosebleed, which alarmed her. Remembering the activator kit, she immediately extracted the substance from her old body and injected it into herself, restoring her normal state. With her youth and beauty now secured, she confidently auditioned for her old show under a new name, So. The director and crew were mesmerized by her appearance, and she was instantly selected. To maintain the body-switching routine, she fabricated a story about having to visit her sick mother every week. The director agreed, granting her weekly leave. So quickly rose to fame, gaining a massive following. Her face was once again plastered across billboards and advertisements. After 6 days in her new body, she prepared to switch back to her old one. As planned, she activated her old body and ensured the young one remained stable. However, upon returning to the studio, the director gave her a gift before cruelly dismissing her. Though deeply hurt, she returned home. Elizabeth, filled with tension, called the company. She told them she had missed her cycle and hadn't switched her body, leading to a broken finger. When she asked for a solution, the company coldly responded that there was none. What was done was done. Terrified, Elizabeth listened as they reminded her that she wasn't two separate people. She was one. Later, she picked up her new refill kit and went to a restaurant where an old man spoke to her strangely. He had a familiar mark on his hand, the same one she had seen on a nurse at the hospital. But this wasn't just any old man. It was the older version of that nurse. The man asked her a chilling question. "Has your new body started eating you?" Scared, Elizabeth ran away to AKT home. She tried to embrace her old version, calling a friend to meet up. She got dressed beautifully, styled herself like her newer version, and felt confident. But outside, she saw Sue's posters, and her confidence crumbled. She ruined her makeup and hair, spiraling into depression. She ate excessively before falling asleep. The next morning, she finally switched bodies and went for her show. However, mid-performance, she felt a strange lump on her lower body. Confused, she rushed to the washroom and pulled something out of her belly button, a whole chicken she had eaten the night before. Terrified, she woke up to realize it was just a nightmare. But reality hit. She still had to switch bodies and go to her show. In desperation, she called the company again, begging for a solution. Could she reverse what she had done? The answer remained the same. What's done is done. However, they told her she could stop everything and remain in her current body forever. But Elizabeth refused to accept it. Instead, she got a call from show and switched bodies again. She continued to extract more from her old body, living lavishly as Sue for 3 months. But just before New Year's Eve, her fluid ran out. At a boy's house, she suddenly felt her organs bursting. Frantic, she tried to extract more serum, but nothing came out. The company told her she had used it all and had to wait for a new batch. Agonizing pain took over. Her body tore apart at the waist. From within, a grotesque hybrid of Sue and Elizabeth emerged. A monstrous, terrifying figure. Her mind shattered. She no longer knew what she was. Could she still face the world? Desperate, she covered her hybrid face with a picture of Sue and went to the show. But the moment she reached the mic, the picture fell, revealing her hideous form. The audience screamed in terror, calling her a monster. The next morning, workers cleaned up the remnants of what once was Elizabeth. Got a better theory? Drop it in the comments. The best they get to shout out in our next video. Thanks for watching.